Greetings and salutations, viewers and listeners. Welcome to ConnectiCon 2015. I am Charles, coming to you today with two fantastic people from Owl King Publishing. We have E.A. Rappaport, the author, and the illustrator, DelGreco. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
We've seen you around here and there at multiple conventions now, but we've never actually had a chance to talk in depth about your 9-book Matrix series. Not about the Matrix, but it is a Matrix. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about just what is this Matrix and what are the stories within it.
Well, I like to call my series an interlocking matrix of books because they do interlock. Each book is a standalone story, but also part of 2 separate trilogies.
How do you keep that straight?
Well, I love puzzles, so it's like fitting pieces to a puzzle together. So I've had it planned out for quite some time now, and I'm having a blast just writing all the stories.
So did you storyboard all 9 books beforehand, or kind of figure it out as you went along?
I didn't storyboard the whole thing, but I did plan out the major plot lines all ahead of time. So
that would definitely help,
yes,
I would imagine.
Yes. Without that, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. And the first book now is becoming illustrated by...
It is. Sal and I met here 2 years ago, and we decided to give it a shot, to put the first one as a graphic novel.
What brought the partnership together?
Well, we were both looking for a project. Sal was looking to work on a graphic novel, and I was looking for an artist.
Perfect fit.
It was a perfect fit, yeah.
And I love the style, by the way. It's really nice. I'm really excited for it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
How did you decide on that particular style, or how did you figure out how you wanted all that stuff to look?
It really wasn't a conscious decision. It was just like, how can I make it look the best using my skills, you know?
So, sort of an organic growth of figuring it out.
Yeah, because I think if you go for a certain style, then it seems a little predetermined, you know, like you're trying to do something.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should ever try to do something. I think you should always just be yourself and see what comes out.
Yeah.
You know, I think it always comes out better that way.
And we were talking off air beforehand a little bit about the level of detail and care you've been putting into this.
Yeah, it's a blessing, but it's a fault too. You know what I mean? Because I think people enjoy seeing very detailed artwork, people who put a lot of time into it, but it takes so long.
I can imagine.
You know, and it makes me wonder how like more published artists get it done so fast, because you gotta pull yourself back a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
What's the process from like sketching it out to cleaning it up, inking and coloring? Like,
well, I obviously read his script first.
Yep.
And then what I do is I just sit there and I kind of imagine before like a pen is even in my hand. Like the blank page is there and I try to plot it out in my mind, so that once I pick up the pencil, it's pretty quick.
Okay.
And then any artist will tell you just start with shapes.
Yep.
You just start with shapes and you try to get emotion going. You try to, he has all the panels like plotted out, what he wants to see in panel 1, panel 2.
Okay.
So I try to make the panels fit the page.
Yep.
Sometimes there's upwards of 9 panels. So you
wow.
really gotta pick and choose what you're gonna show.
9 panels on a page is not easy.
Well, look at Watchmen. Look at Dark Knight Returns.
Fair enough.
You know, upwards of 12 to 15 panels on a page sometime.
True.
You know, imagine how selective that artist needed to be and what he decided to show.
I would not want that job. I would not have the patience for that.
Right. Okay. We got a preview for everybody who's watching this. This is free. It's soon going to be digital content. So you'll be able to go to the Facebook page and the owlking.com website and pick this up. All of our stuff is going to be digital content pretty
Nice.
soon. That's one of the next goals. So.
And that preview is of the first book, yes?
Yes. Yeah, it's a 5-page preview.
Okay.
It's on good paper. It's well presented. We're not just saying, here you go.
Yeah.
We're saying, we're here. We want you to pay attention. So.
You're really putting your hearts into this,
Absolutely.
and it shows.
Absolutely.
I'm actually a little more curious about the details of the plots to this interlocking matrix. We haven't really gone into that too much. I was hoping you could give us a few details at least of like, how does the interlocking matrix work? How many plots are there being played back and forth?
So there's 6 major plots going on.
Okay.
The first book is part of 2 of them. Each book is part of 2 major story arcs.
Yep.
One is about a set of cursed weapons and how those weapons affect different people in different time periods.
Okay.
And another arc is with those characters from this story, and there's a plot of betrayal among themselves. And future, later books in the series are about a transmuter wizard who's creating an army of hybrids between humans, animals, and objects.
That sounds dangerous.
It is.
And a little messy.
It's very messy, definitely. And actually, the most recent one that I'm working on is about the Netherworld.
Nice.
So I'm having a lot of fun with that one.
Okay. So each book has 2 concurrent plots going along.
In addition to the storyline of that book.
What sort of time span is there amidst these plots? Like, is it a couple years, some decades, or like entire lifetimes or generations?
Exactly. Well, it's actually a combination.
Okay.
3 of the books take place in sort of the middle time period. I say middle first because that's where the first book takes place.
Okay.
3 of them are 600 years before that, and 3 of them are 600 years after that.
So more than a few generations in between.
More than a few. There is one long-lived race of creatures that lives, and they span two of the books, but not all 3.
Cool. So, what gave you the idea to create a 9-book series this intricate?
It happened after I had written book 2.
Okay.
After I had written book 2, since the second book, it doesn't have the same characters. It's the one that goes 600 years back to find out why everything happened. Of course, people that like the first book and the first characters ask me, well, what happened to them? Why don't you write about them?
We want more.
Exactly. So then that got me thinking, why just write a sequel? Why can't it be a trilogy with the characters and a trilogy without the characters? And then that, for me, it naturally flowed into 9 books.
That's awesome. Okay. Of the 7 books out so far, and the 2 more coming soon, if someone wanted to pick one of these up right now, which one would you nudge them towards? Or how would you pitch different books depending on interests? That one specifically?
Not the comic book version. The actual book version is good too.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Absolutely. Well, in addition to the first book, I often give advice. People ask what's my favorite. My favorite is the 5th book, which is chronologically earliest.
Okay.
But of all of the stories, it's the only anti-hero story. So it was just a lot of fun writing.
Yeah, that would create a nice mix, I would think.
Yes, that was very good. Yeah. The main character, the anti-hero of that book 5, was actually a minor bad guy in book 2.
Oh.
And I did have feedback from some people saying, well, that's an interesting guy. I wonder more about him.
Cool. And the title of that one is?
The 5th book is called The Lesser Evil.
Okay.
The 3 main characters are all not the best. And you have to root for the lesser of them, lesser evil, to actually save the world.
Nice. And if you could you just list the titles of each book, like in the chronology, I guess it would be? Just
the
for
order,
our
the
viewers
order
and
written.
listeners.
The first book is The Legacy of Ogma,
Okay.
Forging Paradise,
Okay.
Shadow from the Past,
Okay.
Secrets of the Undercity,
Yep.
The Lesser Evil,
Okay.
Lich, and Voices from Below.
And those are the 7 out so far.
They are.
Do you happen to have any idea of when the 8th book might come out?
I'm working on it now, and I hope to have it ready sometime next year. At this
Nice.
point, probably later on in the year than earlier.
Fair enough. Very cool. And where can our viewers and listeners find your books and eventual comic?
The books are available on my website, owlking.com, and on Amazon, and on Smashwords.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate learning more about your series.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.